had this training in English, and I remember that quite often I was saying, I'm sorry if you don't understand me, please tell me. I'm sorry, my English is not good, feel free to tell me. And at the very end of the day, they told me, why? Did you say quite often that you don't speak English or good English? And for me, it was that. I don't have the perfect English I should have for the session. They told me, but the session was perfect, the experience was perfect.
Welcome to Language Explorers, where we dive deep into the emotional connection we create with new languages we learn to speak. Today, we are beginning a very special series on how the simple act of speaking a foreign language can be a profound act of self-confidence, vulnerability, and inclusive leadership. I am delighted to introduce our guest, Patricia Cyprien Cloarec.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, Patricia. Patricia is a successful entrepreneur, author, coach, and supervisor, and the founder of the École du Coaching Inclusif in France. Her entire professional life is guided by powerful values: authenticity, diversity, and inclusive leadership. For my part, as a language coach, I help people explore the emotional landscape of a new language, transforming their doubts and self-judgment into the confidence needed for powerful connections and to grow their leadership so they can empower others. In previous conversations with other inspiring guests, we have explored the challenges and benefits of coaching in a foreign language for both coach and coachee. And today, I would like to uncover even more facets of this subject. And with Patricia, what excites me about our conversation today is exploring how our specialized worlds intersect. We share the same core values of inclusion and authenticity. And I hope that by sharing our experiences, we can help inspire you to dare to go out of your comfort zone and impact more lives like Patricia has. Now, we will start with Patricia's own journey with foreign languages, as I had the honor of coaching Patricia on the subject. And you will be sharing your own past fears, your journey to a feeling of freedom in English, and how you found your way to coaching and accompanying clients globally with confidence. This is an amazing path that has led you, Patricia, to experience English in a whole new light, opening you up to a very new world of opportunities. And it has also led us to partnering in a new creative way. But we will come back to that later. So, after that long monologue, welcome to the show, Patricia.
Thank you, Stacy. And thank you for your words.
I hope that they reflect your experience, your feelings, and your journey. Please rectify, correct me if you can.
I think everything was good, and I want to say that what I appreciated with your connection, with the connection with you, it's the values we share. And it's amazing to see that I was only looking for improving my English, and I found much more than just improving language. And my title, my experience, everything is right. But what is very important is the values we shared during this journey and we share today.
Thank you, Patricia, so much for that. To pull me off script and into what is really essential too. That's what it is. It's about connection, right? And yeah, when we connect with people that we share values with, there's something kind of magical that happens.
Yeah,
So totally share that.
totally agree.
Mm, Thank you so much for accepting my invitation today to chat with me in English. I want
Yes.
to, yeah, just
First time for me, huh?
yeah, that needs to be mentioned, right? Doing our firsts. For me, I've done a few podcasts so far. It's been a while for me, so I'm not super comfortable in my position either, but I know that it's an effort to do firsts in a new language. So, thank you for taking that step in my direction because I
Mm-hmm.
am more comfortable in English than in French in this context, I think. It just feels easier for me somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And don't hesitate, please, to ask me to slow down, to reformulate if I'm not clear. We can take the time to do that. I am excited, truly excited to be here. And when I get excited, I start speaking fast. And I
If I have
smile.
any issue, I will tell you, Stacy. I will feel free to tell you that we
Thank you.
slow down.
Yeah. And I'm generally quite happy, so I smile a lot. And I know that when I smile too much, even harder for me to articulate. I
Mm.
seriously, just quick anecdote. When I passed an oral exam in France years ago, I had one of the jury members tell me afterwards at the debrief, it was great, your presentation, but you smiled too much. What? It was hard to understand with my accent. Maybe I was speaking too fast. I was nervous, and I was smiling so much I couldn't articulate.
Just smile. It's much better when you smile.
So, better for the energy, I understand, but for comprehension, it can be apparently a handicap. So, I just wanted to
Okay.
put that out there to share. Oh, if you happen to have any issues with expressing yourself, if you can't find a word or whatever, you could ask me for help. Maybe I can suggest a word if you want, or if you want to use a word in French or an expression in French because it just feels like it fits better, you can do that too. I'm going to add subtitles or captions to the
Okay.
podcast to make it more accessible. So we can always put translations in there or, yeah, let's just be flexible and playful.
Nice. Perfect.
Okay. So, the first episode today, I would like to take some time to look at how you came into this deeply personal and life-changing part of your journey and start at the beginning of this. When we first spoke, you had these amazing business opportunities, and there was something that was holding you back with your
Mm.
English, right? You defined your initial goal as wanting to feel at ease and natural speaking English, particularly for coaching and leading groups. But you also said, I want to free my natural English. And to start off, could you please tell us what that desire for freedom really meant to you at that time? What was the biggest barrier that made you feel unfree in English?
At this moment, when I was talking about barriers or feeling free talking in English, it was more about my vocabulary. It was more about feeling confident in the choice of expressions, words. It was being more fluent when I was talking with a group because before I used to work in English. I even coached in English, but I knew that I was not so confident. Yes, one time with a group and human research the group, a team, I had this training in English, and I remember that quite often I was saying, I'm sorry if you don't understand me, please tell me. I'm sorry, my English is not good, feel free to tell me. And at the very end of the day, it was 2 days of training. At the very end, there is one from Romania, one from Dutchland, one from France, and one from the US.
Mhm,
And they told me, why? Did you say quite often that you don't speak English or good English?
mhm,
I I realized that I was apologizing of talking in English and just being there in another language. But I used to work in English, but I wasn't free to express myself. At this moment, I thought it was the consequences of my level in English.
Mm,
That's why at the very beginning, I think the first attempt, it was like Duolingo, practice my English.
right.
And then I looked for a group. Someone talked about English group with professors, and we practiced, and it seems it was quite okay for my needs, and it
Hmm.
did work. And then I think I heard you in a video on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
And you talked about coaching in English. I have like an intuition. I don't know. I say intuition? Yeah,
Intuition, yes. Mhm.
intuition. I have the intuition that you touch something very useful for me. It's not just about learn how to speak English. It's about to coach me to improve my inner feeling with English.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Sorry, go on. Did you want to finish?
No, just at the beginning, it was something like an intuition about the coaching part, a will to improve my English, to feel more comfortable and confident when I express myself with a group or in a coaching session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand when I was listening to you tell the part of the story about or the experience that you had where you were having these people reflecting back. Why were you saying that, right? Why were
Mm.
you coming up with that? It's showing me that it's this question of perception, the perception you had of yourself
Yeah,
and what you were expressing and how understandable you were was not aligned, obviously, with
not at
their
all.
perception because they came to you and what are you talking about, right?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
It, it was not a line at all, because for me it was like, I'm sorry because you paid for this session. I don't have the perfect English I should have for the session, and for me it was that. And
Mm,
they told me, but the session was perfect, the experience was perfect, and they meet their goals. And but they didn't understand why I was apologizing
mm.
so so often. And then I realized that I have to do something with that, but it takes some years before I found the right way of working on it.
Yeah, okay. So that helped you to see, oh, there's something I need to do. What can I do? And then your intuition brought you in the direction of coaching.
Yes, and I used to work in business schools and in English with non-English natives and English natives
Mm-hmm.
uh, from the US, in England, Great Britain.
Yes.
And I realized that I make a difference between people that are like me, so non-native speakers, and native speakers. They make me feel uncomfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
this was conscious for me, but the same, I didn't work on it.
Hmm. Yeah, that is something that's super common. I can't remember how I experienced that when I was learning French, but in any case, when I accompany my clients, there is this question of, okay, non-natives are okay. They're okay, or they're more or less okay. Native speakers, They're scary, they're intimidating. They're obviously judging me and they're hearing all of my mistakes and they're obviously focusing on all of that, right? And so there is this big difference of perception what's going on in people's heads with, yeah, depending on who the listener is. Just
Yeah,
guessing, imagining these
yeah.
stories in their heads of what the native speaker is thinking. And sorry, did you want to answer?
No, no,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
I think in a way I need to work on that myself when I'm speaking with non-native speakers because I'm a native speaker. So I happen to be one of those people, scary people, right? So maybe I need to work even harder at creating this safe space
Mm.
to prove to people that's not where I'm at. But even if I'm showing it externally and doing everything I can to
Mm.
show my non-judgmental attitude, that doesn't mean that inside their head they're able to make that shift and go, it's okay, right?
No,
And
because
put
there
me
is
on
this
that
little
level.
voice. There's a little voice judging the English, and when it's a non-native speaker, the little voice say, it's the same for him or it's the same for her. We are sharing something. It's not our native language, so it's okay. I can make mistakes. Maybe he won't even see and hear the mistake. So
Exactly.
we are in the
Yeah.
same boat, so it's okay. With
Hmm.
a native speaker, it's like you see, I was afraid of this. What?
Mm,
Because I didn't use the right way of saying things, but it was only in my head.
yeah. And there lies the question. Okay, there is that going on. Now what do we do? How can we clarify that? And that's
Mm.
where coaching can come into play. So we
Mm.
can work on that rather
Mm.
than working on irregular verbs or something fun
Yeah.
like that. I wanted to move on to this question of locker, the image. Uh,
Yeah.
you had described your feeling like as if you were inside a locker. I found that very powerful.
Mm.
Could you describe what that feeling was inside the locker? What kept you trapped there?
Yes. At the beginning, I didn't feel or felt. Oh, irregular verbs.
Didn't feel.
I didn't feel trapped in the locker. The locker was like my cave, my cove. No, my cave and my cove.
Interesting one
It was
there.
my special small place and safe place. So for me, it was not like I was stuck in it. But the more we were going through the coaching, I realized that this locker, this cave, this cove was like a small space where I was stuck in it. And,
Hmm.
uh, and outside the locker, there was something like dangerous, like a danger. And I think that feeling judged maybe was like a danger for me. I was avoiding this danger. The, the more we were going in the several sessions after sessions, I realized that focused. I was not focused on the relationship, the other person, but only on me. That is the extreme opposite of my values and what I really want when I communicate with someone. What we did is open smooth the locker and see that outside, inside it's okay. I didn't want to get rid of my locker now. It's I need it. Outside, I also need it. And it's not like only danger. And even if there is danger outside, I'm very strong. And it was part of the journey. It sees that outside there is a big place with sun, with lots of possibilities, and I could just enjoy these possibilities. And
Mm,
even in English. And outside, one of the danger was in French, I know that I can deal with everything.
right.
Any
Mhm.
emotion with coaching in a group, I know that I can accept, deal, manage anything, any
Mhm.
situation. Because I think so fast, I can adapt myself and I speak fast too in French. And I had to accept to slow down in English. It was one part of my journey. So slow down to realign the written with my mind, with the way it's able to go outside my mouth.
Mhm.
And I realized that even in English, I will not lose this ability to adjust myself, adapt myself, accept anything. And
Mhm.
in my head before, it was like when I switch in English, I have to control everything because I have not this ability to adjust, adapt, and just be me.
Mm. Thank you for that. This whole idea of ex knowing what you're capable of doing in French. You
Yeah,
have all of these, right? You have these skills, you can work in all these different environments. And then switching over to English, I understand that before it was like, I can't access, there's something about not being able to access those capacities in the same way. And so it's like as if you lost them somehow. You mentioned losing. And so it's somehow discovering that you haven't lost them, but redefining a bit maybe who you are or how you communicate. Because, like you said, you speak fast. You wanted to be able to just do everything the same in English, but it was
yeah.
actually going through a process of not that. I need to slow down. I need to accept that's the way I'm communicating in English. It's different, but it's helping me. It's m making it possible for me to do these things that I do in French. Just, yeah, relearning the same, going through the same processes in French, but with a different, I don't know, like a different, I was going to say different costume or a different, not a body, but with your voice in English, a lot of people, I love questioning people about this too, about how you feel, if you feel like you're a different person somehow, how when you hear your voice, how does that feel to you? And there's something about coming into that voice and getting comfortable feeling it, being in it, and doing all of these things that you know how to do in the language.
It's very important because being in my voice, in my body, it's, I think, the key point of all of this. Because when I was in my head, asking myself, am I good enough? Is my English good enough? I am not in my body. I am not in a full presence. I am not here because I am with myself. And being able to pacify the relationship with my voice in English, my image in English, and the way I interact with people in English
Hmm.
is find a new way to connect with people and not only to connect with myself and my self-judgment.
Hmm.
And I think it made me a long time to understand that I was losing my objectives. And what I really like is communicate with people, understand people, be with people. And in English, I was not motivated by this powerful, I would say, oil like in a car, but it's not oil,
Oh.
um, carburant,
Gas,
energy, gas,
petrol, yeah, energy. Hmm.
energy cask. I was not powered by this, but just by my fear.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
English was something I have to get rid of my fear instead of I have to enjoy the moment with someone.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's a shift in
It,
perspective. It's in the energy that
yes,
you have, in the focus that you have. It's like, okay,
yes. A
wait a
shift in
minute,
the
wait a minute.
focus and the energy.
Yeah, yeah. It's what am I here for?
Hmm?
Oh, there's somebody here and connecting with that. So kind of disconnecting the whole brain process, the doubts
Hmm.
and everything, and connecting with, oh, okay,
Yeah.
hi. Why are we here? What are we
Hmm.
communicating on? What's the meaning in the communication that we have? Mm. Okay, thank you. You are an expert in inclusion and creating safe spaces. How might this expertise have helped you in the transformation of your relationship with English?
My personal belief is that if you want to be inclusive in the way you interact with people, the world, nature, you have to be inclusive with yourself first. This belief, I think, makes the process be more conscious for myself because it was like I practice something I really believe in. So
Hmm.
I was like in a process to include
Yeah.
myself.
Mhm.
Okay? And I apply what I say to people, what I try, what I when what I say when I make some trainings
Yeah.
with people, but applied to myself.
Yeah.
So I accept the process, including me, including me in this part. And this part was me talking in another language. And what we found in this inclusive part, or including me, is that there is like something I had since I was young. A
Mm-hmm.
belief I built when I was young, because I am from Guadeloupe.
Yeah.
In Guadeloupe, we speak Creole. And when I was young and I spoke Creole when I was in vacation in Guadeloupe, I didn't have the accent. So my family, and it was not something against me, it was something funny, but they laughed because my Creole was funny for them, with the
Mm-hmm.
French accent. But I think that I keep something from this part, is that I cannot speak a language if I don't have the perfect way of using this language. I would feel like a fool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and I think it's inclusion is also this including myself in this part of myself. And when I speak in English, I open the scope of the people I can communicate with. I facilitate, I have facilitated co-dev or session in English with people from different parts of the world. And it's so powerful. And it's a piece of moment of humanity, because you have people from, I don't know, India, Singapore, Mexico, France, talking about the same topic
Mm-hmm.
with so different perspectives. So English for me is a way to speak like the same language with all our difficulties, to speak another language that our mother tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but sharing different perspective with the benefits of the diversity, and dealing with an issue, if we are in a co-dev session, dealing with an issue with the cultural impact, the difference of perspectives, because we are all different, but the difference of perspectives, because we are not shaped in the same country with the same framework.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And for me, it's in my experience, English is a way of being more inclusive. I don't know if I'm clear.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You just said way too many things. I took notes because English is a way of being inclusive. I'm noting that one to come back to it because I want to pick your brain. I want to know what you mean by that. But first, I have to come back to the other things. Just a second. A way of being inclusive. Because I actually have a perspective completely opposite of that in a way. Super curious to hear, to play with that. Coming back to my question, it was about you being an expert in inclusion. I love the way that you said that you go through this process of like including yourself. So putting yourself into this position where you're the subject, where you need this inclusion, but you did it actively. You didn't wait for the people in your environment to
Change.
create
Yeah,
that space for you. You did it actively. You're like, okay, this is how I need, or this is what I need to include myself in this new space with this new language. So I thought that was super powerful to hear that you can do that. Put yourself in that position. You're not the teacher saying, this is how you do it. You're like, oh, well, here I am. I'm
Mhm.
going through the process myself, putting
Yeah.
it into there. Coming back to what you said about, I think that's super powerful also, just for people to hear. how incredibly impactful it can be to have experiences like that where maybe they didn't mean to be hurtful, harmful, but
No,
if family or people laughed at your accent, it was cute for them, it was fun for them. They didn't mean to hurt you, but when you're that vulnerable, when you're trying something new for the first time, it's like you're naked. And if they laugh at you when you're naked, you can perceive it wrong, and that
mm,
can really scar you, right?
yeah,
And that can, like you said, it can stay, it can stick and affect you for a long time. And just knowing that can be a step. Being
yeah.
aware of the fact that has happened, that's how you reacted, changing perspectives on it can be super powerful. And making the comparisons too as an adult. Oh, this is how it happened. How does that compare with English and French? I hear that was helpful for you to see that. And the last part with Kodev, I wrote perspectives. Oh, here I hear that you are in that space, you're really connecting with meaningful conversations. Oh, that's how English is a way of being inclusive because you're able to connect with all of these people and you're in a room with all of these people.
All the world.
Yeah, in a room with the whole world and different perspectives, different cultures, different experiences. And because you're speaking English, or thanks to this common language, you're able to connect with them and
Mm.
and be there. So yeah, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
Love it.
welcome.
Love it. Love it. Love
My pleasure.
it. Okay. I have one last question for this episode here
Mhm.
to wrap it up a bit. If you had to name one feeling that summarizes this chapter of your journey that we spoke about during this episode, what would it be?
The first word that came was freedom, and then bloom,
Mm.
because bloom is like a movement.
A broom, you said.
Bloom,
Bloom. Ah, like a flower.
yeah.
Yeah, that the first time I heard bloom, it sounded beautiful. And then I thought I heard broom, like
Ah,
sweeping.
nice. Bloom.
Yeah, yeah, it was bloom. Freedom and bloom. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I would say bloom because I think this journey with English was not un hasard.
It wasn't random. It
It
wasn't
wasn't
by
random in my
chance.
life,
Hmm.
okay? Because I can see that I'm doing several things in my life to be free, free to think, free to act, free to be curious to see what my limits are and be very conscious that I will never reach my limits, but being curious to see what could be my limits. It's
Hmm.
something very funny for me in my life and very energizing for me. Okay, so this path with English was like this movement, being stuck in my locker, go outside, see a lot of possibilities, opportunities. And what is amazing is that I started this coaching with you because I had some opportunities and I wanted to have some opportunities because I really like to coach and facilitate and train with people from other countries. But I didn't had these opportunities. They was not there. And then I told you, Stacy, I have new opportunities. And the more we were working on English on this journey, I have several opportunities in English. And I think there is something very aligned between me allowing myself to be me, even in another language, and me being an entrepreneur and scaling, me be Patricia and enjoying life. I think there's something very aligned between all my Patricias.
Love it. All those Patricias. all working together in harmony. Things are aligning, they're coming together. There's something about just part of it is from you. Part of it is you. You're doing things. Obviously, it's not happening all by magic, but part of it is intentional. Part of it is intuition, you mentioned. Part of it is just, yeah, that connection, the creating connection, focusing on that, and then things just happen. So there's some part of it that's kind of magical and aligning that seems like it's out of your power somehow, but it's happening in the right direction.
I strongly believe that I cannot control my life and life,
Hmm.
and that my duty is find a way to just be relaxed, to live my life. And I think that lots of people, they are fighting with their life, fighting with universe, fighting with what's happened, but things happen and I
Hmm.
cannot control this. So what I can do is be curious. The water is going in this direction.
Hmm.
What is in this direction? I will not use my strengths to go in the other direction. And I can be curious and see what is going
Mm.
and dreaming about what I want. Because when I have an opportunity, my intuition say, "Oh, just move this way," and I move and I see, and I want to be this way, and I want it to be more comfortable and free with English because I don't like to feel stuck somewhere. Because life is like water. Being stuck is not something I can accept.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you mentioned the water earlier. I was thinking the expression go with the flow,
Yes.
following that flow, that energy where things are going. And at the same time, you're not turning around and going upstream either. You're going down with it. And then as you go down, you choose your direction, but still not being in opposing energy in any case with it. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for opening up, really, opening
Mhm.
the story up. Really, it's a very personal experience that you've shared. So thank you so much for that. It's about being vulnerable too, and the beauty of that. Seriously, I believe that it's a position of leadership, I think, to be able to say, okay, I know my English isn't quite perfect. You mentioned that before we started recording. Well, maybe I might make mistakes. I said, great, right? Yeah, you came into it knowing you might make mistakes. I came into it knowing that I wasn't going to be perfect either. But when you're in a language like that, if other people hear you, with the messages that you have, the experiences that you have to share. People hear that and they go, oh, wow, she went out and said those things because they were meaningful for her. And she was able to get past the fact that she might have made some grammatical errors on the way. That is inspiring, I think. And I think it's encouraging others to go, okay, maybe I could do the same thing too. I have something to share. I want to connect with other people. And if she can do it, maybe I can too. So
Yes.
yeah, I think it's really exemplary to do that, to dare to say, okay, go on, record me, record my voice and put it out there and let people listen to it. And hopefully they'll get something out of it. Because I understand that if you accepted to do this today, that yeah, that part of it is sharing that energy, the inspiration, the ideas, helping people to go take something from what you shared so that they can make those connections too.
I hope to.
So thank you very much for that. Thank you to our listeners for following us. I would like to ask a question to the listeners before we leave.
Mhm.
So, thought-provoking question in line with the episode. So, Patricia, you shared your feelings with English, how they were transformed from the beginning to now this beautiful images you had with freedom and bloom. For me, with French, when I was learning French, if I had to define my experience or my relationship with French, I might have called French a scary monster. something that I was running away from all the time. I was in fight or flight for way too long, running, hiding, but talking as little
Mm-hmm.
as possible. That was my beginning. And then as I went through a process, which was very long and painful for my part, French became my friend. Yeah, it's peaceful now. It's okay. We're cool.
Nice.
And so my question to our listeners is, if you think about a foreign language that you're working on or that you speak in, how could you define your relationship? Could you personify the language somehow or give it an image like you have? And maybe how has that evolved over time? What is it? How could you name it? What color is it? Something like that. So, Patricia,
Powerful.
thank you. Well,
You
go
were
on.
talking about the language like a friend, but sometimes when you want to evolve, to bloom, you have to make some decision with your friends. Some are okay to go where you want to go, and some friends, they want to keep you where you are, and it's not very okay for you and okay for your objectives. So when you talk about English, other language as a friends, the question in my head is, okay, now I automatically I make a decision if someone stay as a friend or not. So it's my invitation.
Ah, I like that one. Yeah, there's another path to explore. Kind of a friend. Yeah, thank you for that. In the next episode, I would like to take this discussion a step further, speaking of this question of inclusion, how I believe it's a two-way street. You spoke of that earlier about you being in the included or including yourself.
Mhm.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about those roles, those places we can be in where we are the included or unincluded one, and how can we be more inclusive in regards with people speaking in a foreign language. So
I love this discussion.
I'm really excited to go into it. So yeah, looking forward to it. See you in the next episode.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.